I'm in Norwich at Hardwick House. If you live in or near Norwich, you're probably familiar with the building. If you're of a certain age, you may well recall it as the GPO, the General Post Office. If you look at the top of the building, you can still see the crown emblem, the very sign of the GPO, except it isn't. This building was designed in the 1860s by Philip Hardwick, hence the name, and he'd been commissioned to design it for the Crown Bank, and that's who the emblem belongs to. The Crown Bank had been established in the 1790s. By the 1860s, it was firmly established with branches throughout East Anglia. At its head by this stage was Sir Robert Harvey, a very successful man with a luxurious house out at Crown Point, also designed and rebuilt by Philip Hardwick. Sir Robert Harvey was leading a luxurious lifestyle, and therein lay the problem. He was funding his lifestyle with money he was taking from the Crown Bank, and he was disguising his fraud by allocating the debts to customers who didn't exist. As a fraud, it was destined not to last. In 1870, the Franco-Prussian War broke out, and the result was an immediate collapse of the market. With his debts now running into hundreds of thousands of pounds, Sir Robert Harvey became aware he could no longer conceal his fraud. He was desperate. On the 15th of July 1870, he went back to his house at Crown Point and he shot himself. As a suicide attempt, it was botched to say the least. He took 4 days to die. During those 4 days, Norwich went into meltdown. There was panic. A creditors' meeting was called at the Royal Hotel, just across the road. There was no disagreement when Gurney's Bank offered to buy the goodwill of the Crown Bank, which they did, and they moved the business into their own premises. Hardwick House would now stand empty. 5 years later, the General Post Office moved into Hardwick House, and it's they who not only conveniently add their name to the existing Crown motif, but they also extend the building along King Street. By the Second World War, the General Post Office is so busy it has to temporarily extend into the agricultural hall next door simply to deal with the vast amount of mail. By 1969, things had changed again. The GPO moved out and took new premises across the road on Bank Plain, and in 1970, Hardwick House was acquired by a London property company. It will stand empty again for a few years until, in 1980, it's occupied by Anglia Television. By 1982, Hardwick House had become physically linked to the agricultural hall by this glass-fronted extension, and after some further moderation, would actually for a while become the main entrance to Anglia TV. From a bank and a banking crime, a financial crisis, on to public service as the General Post Office, and then into the high technology world of becoming a television studio, Hardwick House has been an important character in the story of Norwich. And now, soon to be converted into residences, a whole new chapter is beginning for Hardwick House.